Okay guys, let's say you're at home and you don't have any watercolors and you want to do a watercolor project. You can make your own watercolors. First, you need to find some kind of containers to put some water in and to put your watercolors in. As long as you have something to put the water in, water, and some food dye, you can make your own watercolors. So I put about 1/3 cup of water in each one of these cups. Okay. Now I have, in a normal set, usually of food dye, you have blue, yellow, green, and red. Now I could use the green, but it's more fun to make a green. So I'm gonna use the 3 primary colors, blue, yellow, and red. Now this I've got kind of set up like a color wheel. In the color wheel there are 6 main colors, 3 primary, blue, yellow, and red, and 3 secondary. So here we go. I'm gonna start with yellow. And I'm gonna put it in this cup just to keep it straight. So I'm gonna put, to start, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 little drops. You also need to have something to mix it with. So I'm gonna stir that up, and then you need to have a paper to test to see what it looks like. I'd say that's pretty good, but it could be a little bit better. So I'm gonna put another 1, 2, 3 drops in. I'm gonna stir that up, and I'm gonna test it out and see if I like that a little bit better. Maybe 2 more drops. Yellow's pretty weak, so it kind of takes, oh, I put in 3 more drops. It takes a little bit more on the yellow. So I'm gonna stir it up, now I'm gonna test that. I'm very happy with that, I like that yellow. So now I'm going to go on to the next color. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this cup, and in this one I'm gonna do red. So I'm gonna take my red dye, and I'm gonna put, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 drops in, and we'll see how that goes. I can always add more. So I'm gonna stir that up, and I'm gonna test it out. That's pretty weak. It's pretty watery. So let me try again. 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 more drops. I think I accidentally got 4 in. Again, you kind of have to play with it. I'm gonna stir it up. I'm gonna test it. I think maybe 3 more drops. Now, this is gonna depend on your dye, what kind of dye it is. So you just kind of have to play around with it until you think that it looks pretty good. I'm happy with that red, so I'm gonna leave it. I know it looks a little bit orangey up there. Okay, now I'm gonna skip this one and I'm gonna go to this one. I'm gonna do blue. Okay, let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try 6. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna rinse my brush because I don't wanna have it mix up the color. I'm gonna stir it up, and I'm gonna test it out. I think that this is a little bit weak. It's pretty watery, so I'm gonna try adding 4 more drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could always start with less water, and then you would have to use less drops of food coloring. I started with 1/3 of a cup because I'm gonna be doing Easter eggs with my kids, so I went ahead and I'm gonna use it for something else. I am happy with that blue. So now I've gotta make my secondary colors. Again, I could use this green, but I'm gonna make some green. So green is made with yellow and blue. So I'm gonna go right here in between, and I'm gonna add, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mine needed a lot for my yellow. So I put 9 drops of yellow and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try 5 drops of blue. This is a science experiment, so you kind of have to test and play around. Stir it up, and let's see what that looks like. It's kind of a yellowy green, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of blue. 2 drops. Okay. Stir it up. I'm happy with that green, so I'm gonna leave that green. Now I'm gonna go ahead and skip over here. Yellow and red make orange. So I'm gonna put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That seemed to work pretty good, about 9 yellows. And then I'm gonna try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drops of red. Since it took about that many of blue, we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna stir it up. I'm gonna test it out. That is a pretty good orange. I'm happy with that, so I'm gonna leave that. Now there's just one color left. Red and blue make purple, violet. However, this is gonna be the trickiest one and it's not gonna look exactly perfect. I'm gonna put in 5 drops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops of blue. And then I'm gonna put in about 5 drops of red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm gonna see if this looks, make sure my brush is really clean. I'm gonna stir this up. It might end up looking a little bit brownish, but it usually looks better when it dries. I think maybe a little bit more red. Again, I want to remind you, it's not gonna look like a perfect purple. Purple is the hardest color to make, but you can get a color that's pretty close and that's still gonna look pretty nice. Gosh, I think it needs a little bit more blue actually. Purple, hard. Unfortunately, I think that's probably the best that I'm gonna get. And I think that when it dries, it's gonna look better than it looks right now. Might try adding, I'll probably mess it up, but I'll try adding 2 more drops of red. Yeah, I know it looks kind of like a grayish blue. You might be able to get better, but it's really hard, so that might be as best as you can get. Now that we have made our own homemade watercolors, let's paint a picture of a rainbow. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a white crayon and I'm gonna create waxy white clouds. So I'm gonna come down here to the bottom and I'm going to draw a white cloud. I'm gonna kind of color it in. Okay. And I'm gonna come to this side. I know you can't see it. I'm gonna make another white cloud, kind of color that in. Now the crayon is gonna act as a resist. It's gonna resist my homemade watercolor. So here we go. I'm gonna start with a clean brush. The first color at the top of the rainbow is red. So I'm gonna start here. And I'm gonna go up and come down. Red is at the top. Now I know in this it looks a little bit orange, but it's red. And if you want it to be a little bit darker, you can always put on another layer and it'll get darker. All right, now I'm gonna go on to orange, the next color in the rainbow. You can see where it's not wanting to go. That's where my cloud is. Okay, and rainbows kind of blend, the colors kind of blend into each other. So I'm gonna go back and just kind of create that watery slide for it to run together. All right, next would be yellow. Red, orange, yellow. Next comes green. Mine are really wet. If I want it to be darker, I can just add another layer of green. It's okay that it's running together. Next is gonna be blue. And then comes the hardest color, which is going to be violet. Now remember, that's gonna be a really hard one. It's not gonna look exact, but I promise when it dries, it will look better. Now let's say I'm gonna paint the rest of the sky a blue color. So I'm gonna go back to my blue, except this time I'm going to color everything around, and then my clouds they should pop right out. There it is. There's one of my clouds. There's another cloud. Now, if I get too close to wet watercolor, it will all run together. So I'm trying to leave a little space right now. If I had time, I would let it dry and then I could come back to add. Now we have painted a picture with our own homemade watercolors. And now you're ready to paint a project.